be here. Greg contacted me 2 weeks ago and asked me to say a few words, and I'm going to try to keep it at that, just a few words here at least. So, yeah. The other thing this district has done for conservation is been a leader in conservation tillage. And again, back in the 1980s and early 90s, it was leading one of the initiatives, a key part of one of the initiatives called the Conservation Technology Information Center. And this district helped launch that effort there. And again, led to the adoption of conservation tillage and ultimately no-till all across the country. And I would say it was a key catalyst in sort of a revolution that started in the late 80s and early 1990s around conservation, all because of this soil and water conservation district. All sorts of things, and again, the soil and water district here, Allen County, became a leader in developing the St. Joe River Initiative, which again is a big partnership with the city of Fort Wayne around drinking water, all the soil and water districts, up into Michigan. There's certainly a theme on many of those things and accomplishments with Allen County's district here, and that being often focused around how do we maintain clean water and clean up the water, whether it's for drinking water or for recreation purposes there. All of you I know have traveled around the United States to visit a national park or visit family or anything. How many times were you ever told not to drink the water? Not very often. Occasionally you might run into something like that, but it's something in the United States we are really blessed with, that we have pretty clean water to deal with. So when we go to, if we take a trip out to Yellowstone National Park or something, we know along the way we can brush our teeth and we can take a drink of water out of the fountain and things like that. So we're really lucky. So this notion of clean water in Indiana and clean water across our country is a really important foundation. It's an important investment that we as a society have chosen to make in making sure that we have clean water. And that comes in sometimes in the form of regulations and standards. Sometimes it comes in forms of the right incentives to landowners and farmers and others to keep the water clean as possible. And especially here in the United States, we're really lucky to have across the country these soil and water conservation districts who've been working on trying to maintain clean water now for, in some cases, over 70 years, to make sure that when we go visit family anywhere in this country, we can walk up to a drinking fountain and know that we're likely drinking water that's not going to make us sick and things. So we're really fortunate, and these soil and water districts are critical. So here in Indiana, our Clean Water Indiana program is trying to support that even more. And I will say this, that clean water and water quality is often an issue that we focus on here. We're lucky in the Midwest that usually we don't have the challenges that the Western United States have with water quantity. But I will say this, and it's probably a talk for in the future at one of your meetings or one of your events, is even in Indiana, we will start to have conversations around water quantity, and in some areas not having enough water. We're dealing with that already a bit in central Indiana, and that's leading to some really interesting conversations within our state around moving water. I mean, I don't know how much it's hit up here in the Fort Wayne area. In Indianapolis, when I'm there during the week, the news, often the LEAP project is being discussed. They're northwest of Indiana, where they're building a large industrial manufacturing technology park type of an area that's going to require a lot of water. They don't have enough water right there to service the needs there. So they're talking about moving water from Lafayette out of the Wabash River aquifer down to that area, which is causing a really interesting conversation in our state about water quantity. So just I'm forecasting that to you. Often we have more water than we want, but we will in the future be talking about those times when we don't have enough water. So be prepared. It'll probably be an issue we'll all get to tackle. In the last legislative session last year, and quite honestly, it started with Governor Holcomb in his proposed budget that he put together, is he led our state in wanting to see more money into the Clean Water Initiative program in Indiana. And that's the program the State Soil and Water Conservation Board oversees. By the time it went through the legislative process, all our legislators weighed in, that come out the other end, where we had, for Clean Water Indiana, an extra $6 million a year to distribute across the state. $6 million is a lot of money. But when you start to divide it by 92 counties in the state, it goes away quick, doesn't it? Yeah. So the State Soil Conservation Board spent a lot of time thinking about what's the wisest investment of $6 million per year of taxpayers' dollars towards Clean Water Indiana. And the sheet that I gave you there is one of the key programs that we have, and that's our Clean Water Indiana Competitive Grants Program. And that's a grants program that soil and water conservation districts can apply to. They can go in partnership with neighboring counties here. Allen County has received those funds before, as you would expect. You've got a great leader here with Greg Lake and the team here, that they go after these dollars when it makes sense. Last year, we gave $2.3 million to soil and water conservation districts for this competitive grants program across the state. And this allows districts to propose ideas to us of how best to spend those dollars to improve water quality in their state. I will say we had over $4.5 million in requests, so almost twice as much in demand as what we had dollars able to give out there. So this is a very important program to our soil and water districts. Each district in the state also gets $10,000 of support through the Clean Water Program to just support their district and their operating, as long as the county officials will match at least that amount and things. Allen County's always done well there. Surprisingly, some counties across our state struggle to get that level of county support and things. The State Soil Conservation Board last year actually doubled the amount that we were giving to soil and water conservation districts of this Clean Water Indiana funding to $20,000 for each district, as long as they could match it. Clean Water Indiana program also supports the district support specialists, who's standing right back. Where was she standing in? Oh, she's not standing. She's still here? Right here, right there you are. Yeah. So the Department of Ag has employees scattered around the state that are just out here working with the soil and water conservation districts to help them identify these opportunities and help navigate some of the programs there. One thing that I think will be coming to us, we've had a conservation reserve enhancement program in Indiana, but it's been in just a few watersheds. State Soil Conservation Board, along with the Department of Ag, is trying to expand that program statewide. And what that will be is a new tool in the toolbox for soil and water conservation districts here to work with landowners on practices that improve water quality. And it's done through the Conservation Reserve programs. They get annual payments, for usually 10, 15, and I think some in here can get 30 years now, maybe, with the CLEAR program or something like that, I think it's called. I want to end there and allow the next speaker to come up, but I want you to be aware of the Clean Water Indiana program. Soon, literally in months, we'll be talking about our next state budget. And so we're going to need continued support for this program. I think this is a great investment of our tax dollars because they come out. I'll stop there and allow you to bring on the next speaker. Hopefully that was okay.
Rhiannon Lake's going to come up and talk about the Smart Soils Initiative. And what this program is some new technology that the district is exploring using, trying to help growing technology And she's going to tell you more about that program.
Rhiannon Lakew, I'm Conservation Program Specialist here at Allen County Soil and Water, and I'm also the drone pilot. So I'm excited to tell you today about this new program that we just started called the Smart Soils Initiative. Where it kind of started was last year during the growing season. I came on board and Soil and Water was already interested in purchasing a drone, so it worked out perfect because I already had my drone pilot license. And so I got to go out during the growing season and go test the drone out. So it was a lot of fun, and just kind of want to see what kind of advantages or what opportunities it would provide to growers here in Allen County. And so it turned out very positive, and so I'm going to talk about then what this all came about then with our new program. So, like I said, this is a new program here available to farmers and residents in Allen County, Indiana. It's a no-cost free service, and basically we're utilizing new technology to provide as additional tools to our farmers by basically providing data-driven answers and tailored specifically to their farm even. So, like I said, we purchased a multi-spectral drone, and it's nice because it provides NDVI or crop health, which is a great addition, in addition to the standard RGB camera that's on it. And as well as we wanted to use soil moisture and temperature sensors. So actually, I'm in the process of building those right now. I was hoping to have it ready to display today, but I'm still waiting on one more part. But we plan on having it ready for the growing season to be able to collect data also for soil conditions and provide that data to growers as well. So like I mentioned, it's going to provide data-driven answers to your questions regarding conservation practices. And I should also mention, obviously the drone has a lot of other opportunities with it, so we can also answer just in conservation in general, and more opportunities I'm sure will arise with the drone as well that we can use it. So this applies to farmers that we can that have various levels of experience in conservation practices. In the annual report, it kind of goes over maybe more on a beginner experience if you just want to test out cover crops, and kind of gives an example of how we can assist you in doing some test strips for you if you want to just test it out just to see if it works for your farm. So like I said, this applies to beginner farmers, or not beginner farmers, but beginner experience with conservation, intermediate experience, so you already have adopted some conservation practices, but maybe you run into some issues and you just want to get another opinion or you have a question, see if we can help solve that for you. And in addition to our farmers that have been doing this for a really long time, managing with conservation practices, but maybe you have some high-level questions, such as, you're interested in testing some different mixes of cover crop species, just a monoculture or a single cover crop species. So some examples of some questions that we can answer or provide to you of our drone imagery, such as how is the conservation practice impacting my cash crop during the growing season? So these images here are from, I don't know if it was related or not, but this image here was taken last growing season, the end of August. I flew 2 fields, they're side by side. One side had no-till cover crop, and the other side was managed conventionally tilled, both soybeans. And we found that there was differences in NDVI or crop health. So basically, the no-till cover crop had higher NDVI than the conventional till side. And you can even see some pockets of red out in the field. So I was wondering, what's going on there. So I went out and ground truthed it, and here the conventional till, the field side got lit up with white mold. So it shows that really be able to point out some issues out in the field that, you know, these were total about 40 acres, so, you know, walking it by ground truthing or boots on the ground, sometimes that can take a little longer to figure out. But when you have a drone up in the sky, it can be a lot quicker to use, as well as the drone is kind of like a visual diary as well, where you can capture this now and keep it to remember the rest of the growing season. So then I flew the drone again over that same field in September, and it was pretty cool though, because basically this is just with our high resolution RGB camera. You didn't really need the NDVI imagery over that to show that the white mold, you can see its premature death that it caused, the black out in the field was the white mold. And basically it lined up with the NDVI imagery that we captured on this side back in August. So that's just kind of an example of some of the information we can provide the growers now. Some other questions maybe that farmers might ask are how are conservation practices impacting the soil moisture and temperature during the growing season? And so that's where the soil moisture and temperature sensors we're hoping to install out in the field to be able to collect data like this graph here, courtesy of Bean Farms. And for those of you that know Alan Bean, he already had something done like this study like this done back in 2013. He had someone build him some soil moisture sensors. So kind of the same thing that we're going for, where you have yellow is the conventional tillage line, blue is the no-till cover crop line, and the dates that he collected it from the end of May to the end of December. He also has air temperature graph on the line as well, but we want to capture soil moisture temperature included in that. Probably one of the most important questions for a farmer is, how are conservation practices impacting my yield? So the nice thing is you can kind of create data layers with the drone imagery on top of your harvest data. So that's what this image is here on the left, where I was using a open source GIS software called QGIS. And I was able to take the NDVI imagery from back in August when I flew it and overlay it over top of the harvest data. So red dots is equivalent to anything yield bushels per acre wise, less than 50. Green dots represents 50 to 79.9 bushels per acre. And anything that's blue would be anything over 80 bushels per acre. So the cool thing then was just by eye, you can see that the red dots here also overlay or match with the areas that have the pockets of white mold out in the field. So it's a great way to kind of help. We already noticed it, but we had answers, at the end, like why I was kind of being so poor in this area. You can use the drone imagery to answer questions like that. In addition, looking at the comparison of the yield between the two management practices, it's nice that you can generate graphs for you as well visually to show the difference in numbers of yield. So the no-till cover crop had close to a 3 bushel advantage to the conventional till field here from last growing season. So just in summary, again, it's a free program for you to take advantage of, where we're using data collection technologies now to be able to provide you data-driven answers and high-quality technical assistance related to conservation practices. And again, the drone is a great tool. It's like a visual diary for you to document the growing season and identify any potential issues out in the field that you might observe and you have questions about. And again, soil moisture and temperature sensors also is going to be huge, I think, as well, to be able to answer any questions regarding soil conditions and conservation practices. So if anyone's interested, please contact me. Feel free to take a look at our drone over there, and my business card is also over there as well. So thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.